How to play Sonic, no, how to play how to play how to play Shadow Generations. Shadow Generations is the newest semi-game, not game Sonic game. It's a new addition to the remaster of Sonic Generations, but it is not DLC. It's an added experience with the latest Sonic mechanics and graphics. It takes only a couple of hours to beat, making it a shorter experience by itself, but its extra collectibles and replayability factors make it worth it in my opinion. Yeah, opinions in 2025 about Sonic games. That's crazy. So today I'm going to show you some quick tips, tricks, and what else begins with a T? Terios? On how to be an absolute super speedster in Shadow Generations. Disclaimer, OCDsaster is not claiming to be an official or professional speedrunner, nor is he responsible for any game-breaking, rage-quitting experiences that you may have trying to replicate the stupid tricks. OCDsaster is in no way a Sonic games expert, although he might claim he is in his content. This how-to guide is for comedic purposes only. No real hedgehogs were harmed in the making of this video. In order to be the best at this game, you have to have the best settings. So we're going to go into options and mess with the settings. First is voice settings. Because I speak English, I'm going to go ahead and change the voice settings to Spanish because Shadow loves Latinas. And then from there, we're going to turn the subtitles off because we have a 150-day streak on Duolingo, so we should know what they are saying in this game in Spanish. The control tutorial, we're going to turn that off because if you're watching this, you've probably already beaten the game once before. Hint ring, we are also going to disable because that slows you down and we want the most top speed when getting these S ranks. And of course, we're reversing the cameras because what are we but civilized people? We are also YouTubers and we don't want to get copyright claims, so we're going to turn the BGM volume all the way down. And most importantly, Shadow is an edgy, dark boy, so we have to turn the brightness all the way down. Alright, don't twist what I have to say around. I think this game is one of the best looking Sonic games that we've gotten so far. However, the humans still look a little bit uncanny. I don't think they've been able to figure out how to make humans look in the Sonic universe yet. Maria looks pretty much fine. She's okay. But Dr. Gerald, my god, what did they do to you, you disgusting looking skeleton? I don't know if they were just trying to make sure he didn't look similar to Eggman like in the original Sonic Adventure games, but he looks sickly. I thought Maria was supposed to be the sick one. My goodness.
See.
There's just something so funny about Shadow the Hedgehog saying "see." It sends me. Like, even the expressions are better in this game than they are Sonic Frontiers, so I'm just hoping this is promising for future AAA Sonic games. Alright, so this is your how-to Shadow Generations. The goal is to get to these goal rings at the end of each stage. You see that? That's the goal ring. You wanna get to the end of the level and run right through that bad boy. Doing so will give you a ranking, and depending on what time you hit that goal ring will determine your score, along with some rings. If you have a bunch of rings, that'll help with your score as well. Rings work in two ways. First, like in every Sonic game, they prevent you from one-shot dying, as long as you have one ring in your possession. Wait, where do these guys keep these things? Then you will not lose a life, unless you speed off the stage and plummet down to your death at 102 miles per hour. Dose. Rings help keep your boost meter up. The more rings you collect, the more boosties you have, and who doesn't love boosties? Especially since Shadow decides to jog when running normally. Defeating enemies will fill up your Chaos Control meter. Chaos Control gives Shadow the power of omnipresence and freezes time, enemies, and the environment around him. You can also get Chaos Control in conveniently placed containers on the stage. Pro tip, you can store Chaos Controls by using 1, defeating enough enemies, or getting another Chaos Control in a container so that when your previous one runs out, it gets refilled again. If you see a weird glowing green rail and you have Chaos Control, you can use that as well to cut through chunks of the stages, saving seconds of time. Throughout the story, because Shadow can't go Super Shadow because the 7 Chaos Emeralds are being used in Sonic's main story that's happening at the same time as Shadow's, the developer decided that the Doom's Black Arms alien DNA inside Shadow wasn't creepy enough as it is, so they gave him special Doom powers. These powers include Zappy Zappy, Kick the Crap Out of You, Stingray, Splatoon Squid, and Gross Vomit Wings. Doom powers unlock as you progress through the story and grant you access to other areas in the White Space hub map, along with being integrated into specific stages for fun or head-slamming moments. Boss fights will also require certain Doom powers to be used. Gross Vomit Wings are like the Super Shadow equivalent, in which, when activated, Shadow cannot take damage, but they will disappear if his rings reach 0, which can happen because they slowly deplete with the wings being used. Unlike Sonic, Shadow no longer has a homing attack. Rather, he can phase in and out to kick enemies. This works similar to the homing attacks, but Shadow is like Danny Phantom now, and can phase through walls and lasers. Shadow also has a projectile attack Chaos Sphere, which definitely does not break the mechanics of this game. With all that down, let's get some S ranks. So this is how you play... Sorry, hearing Shadow speak Spanish will always bring me joy. Here we have Space Colony. We're going to jump off the rail onto another rail. We're going to ground pound down, and we're just going to cut that entire loop because it's basically like a mini cutscene. We're going to boost over here, past the enemies, through these boxes, spring up. We're going to ground pound down to get back on the ground. You are way faster on the ground than in the air. We're going to boost on these columns right up here. Don't go on the springs. If you go on the springs, they'll pan you over to meteorites. We're going to go this way instead. Go down these panels to get the secret doohickey item, and we're just going to boost on through. Each level has its own gimmick, and for Space Colony Arc, it's meteorites that you can hit into, but also these zero gravity like panels paying homage to Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. There's not really much else that this level has to offer gimmick-wise, but it's the first level, so it makes sense. So we're going to go through this ring here. We're going to just keep boosting on the grind. Alright, so right here, you can get enough momentum and jump to get into this ring. I missed it right here, but that's fine. It's not the end of the world. We're all not perfect. We're just going to keep going. I'm going to get this Chaos Control, but not use it, because how Chaos Control works in this game is if you use Chaos Control and then pick up another Chaos Control or get enough enemies to get a second one, you can just break it. So I used Chaos Control before getting the second canister of Chaos Control. How many times can I say Chaos Control in a sentence? But I already have Chaos Control again, so I'm going to use it. So you're just stalling out the time and just really improving your time that way. We're going to go through this boost, skip that section, get some rings, and we're going to use Chaos Control again right here. Once these platforms get together, boost on through, get our second secret item, and now we have the fun little quick time event. That doesn't really matter. If you don't do anything, it still does the cutscene, which is kind of disappointing, but it just wastes time just holding and not actually doing anything. So, Shadow is an absolute unit. You cannot stop him. This missile has no family to say goodbye to. It is just gone. Alright, and then we jump on the springs and we get into like the second, I guess, part of this level. There's like 3 parts to this stage. This one has Artificial Chaos in which you can hit, and then multiple different pathways that you can go on. So we're going to boost up here. We're going to hit the spring over here. You can skip a few so you don't have to do as much work. You want to not boost right here so that way you can homing attack through the lasers, get up through the booster ring, and go up this platform instead. That'll allow you to get on this rail, hit on over. You're missing a big portion of the open part of the stage, but it's fine because this is faster. Do not boost when you go off that spring. You will miss that third secret, so just let it automatically bounce you into it. This part, I kind of messed up a little bit, but you can kind of circumvent all the springs and just go to the one at the far bottom, but I didn't do that there, but that's fine. I'm not a speedrunner. I'm not a professional speedrunner, nor will I ever claim to be. We're just trying to get this done in a very quick and optimal way. Each run is going to be a little bit different unless you train really, really, really hard every single day. And yeah, Doom, speaking in Spanish, is absolutely insane and scary. He also has a kink, I would say, for Radical Highway. Like, he loves this stage so much. See, he just confirmed it himself. I don't know why we don't just go to different Shadow the Hedgehog stages during these segments. That would be really cool. Like Radical Highway, yeah, fine, but since it's a whole final level, it would have been cool to do like Westopolis or a bunch of other iconic Shadow the Hedgehog levels. I think that would have been really cool. These are also just kind of like running in a line simulating kind of levels, so it's not very impressive, if I'm being honest. You can ground pound on that rail right there to skip a few seconds of the bounce. I just missed it. My timing was off. I'm sorry. I know I'm a fraud. I'm a sham artist. Going down this building, you want to just stay off the ramps because you are just faster just going at this speed. Going off the ramps, you get too much air time. I did it right there just so that way I could get above the spikies. Well, they're more like electric-y, but that's not as fun to say, you know? So we're going to defeat these guys real quick. Let them know what's up. Hit Doom, and wow, 357 rings at a sub 5. I think we're getting an S rank here. I really do. Alright. There's the gold ring. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah. Ew. It looks so gross. Yuck. Rail Canyon pays perfect homage to Sonic Heroes. That's where this stage originates. And the gimmick is, believe it or not, you are on rails pretty much the entire level. There are, of course, switches that you need to hit to change the way the rails are going. That is an iconic Sonic Heroes mechanic. There's also certain sections where the track will blow up based off of like the trains that come by. So if you use Chaos Control at the right time, you're able to get to different heights and different shortcuts. So I think that's really cool as well. Just make sure that you're switching from railing to get more rings so you can keep that continuous boost going. We're going so fast right here. I'm going to go up here and see how the little trains blew up the track. You can use that to your advantage. I now have Chaos Control, so I'm going to go ahead and use that so they don't blow up this upper part of the rails, so I can go up here and just completely jump over a, not tedious section, but it definitely helps keep my time going. I missed that boost right there. That was a mistake on my end, but we are just ripping through. You can go up there. I lost my momentum. That's fine. We are just making our way up these rails, having a great time. I'm kind of jumping all over the place, which is great. Quickly shocking the robots and just ripping through as quick as we can. These trains are going to come in and like try to run into us, but since I use Chaos Control, they're not going to show up. I'm going to hit this green Chaos Control shortcut beam, and we are flying, baby! And then there's Doom. We already know how this one goes, so we're just gonna move forward. Oh look, a puppy! Alright, so the Biolizard is the first boss encounter in Shadow Generations, and he is pretty easy. Sorry, I should say it is fairly easy. We do not quite know the gender of this prototype ultimate life form. The first phase of this fight is much like its predecessor in Sonic Adventure 2, where you just have to make sure you're in between the head and the tail as it shoots out these energy balls. In the original game, it was a lot more difficult because they actually had the platforms like broken up and you could fall into the yellow piss goo, and the balls also could be hovering up, so you would have to do a somersault instead of just jumping. But here they just stuck it to jumping since the somersault isn't really an ability in Shadow's kit at this time. And although I like that this isn't a one-to-one rematch from the original game, it is kind of interesting that you only get the original type of fight for one hit, and then it goes right into a new phase, and you're fighting essentially a completely different boss at this point. There's nothing like this in the original. And with Shadow's added ability of Chaos Control, this fight is just so easy. This Biolizard does not stand a chance against my mightiness. You just keep hitting these gumdrops and then attack the thing on his back, and then rinse and repeat until we get to the next phase. It telegraphs where he's hitting, which, I mean, is fine. This isn't Dark Souls or anything like that. This is a Sonic game. Just bounce up here, and here, buddy, let me clear that tumor off of your back. And just like that, we have reached absolute and ultimate perfection. The gimmick for the Kingdom Valley stages is that you have these wind rails you can ride. Yes, I checked it out with meteorologists, and that does indeed exist. You can activate them by hitting switches. There's also these bouncing rope that you can do, like this right here, so you can use that as well to navigate through the stage. And what makes it nice is you can actually go ahead and hit that even harder and bounce a second or third time to get to even higher elevations of certain parts of the stage. What I really like about these Act 2 stages, or the side-scrolling stages if you will, is that they still try to make it look aesthetically pleasing and you're not just looking at the camera facing sideways. It does do a few little camera angles like right here where it looks a little bit more three-dimensional, and I can appreciate that because, as many of you know that have been following this channel for a while, I'm not a huge fan of the side-scrolling Sonic games. I know that's near blasphemous, but it is what it is. I like what I like, and we all can live in harmony. It's fine. Now, also, we have this new Doom ability where we can beat the absolute smack out of the Black Arms aliens and hit them into different switches and into other enemies. So that's another great mechanic in this stage. We're just gonna, I guess you have to be far enough to homing attack them. That's good to know. And bop! And now we have the wind rails. Ah, yes, Sunset Heights from my favorite Sonic game, Sonic Forces. Did you guys know that I actually have a series here on the channel where I talk about what I would do if I could remake Sonic Forces? You can check that out after this video. We're just blasting through here. It's really good to get that boost right off the start and then collect the rings to build up the gauge and just keep blasting away, so then you can get those boost rings in the air. We're just dashing through here. The water will slow you down, so just be careful that you're just boosting through and hitting these enemies to keep going as far up as you can. I'm going to use Chaos Control here. Eradicate those enemies. They didn't see it coming. They will never, ever know what true life is like. And that built up another Chaos Control gauge, like I said previously. When you get enough enemies or get another canister while in Chaos Control, it does carry over. I believe the professionals call it Chaos Control Storage, but we don't care about that nerd stuff. We're just going to boost off here. The main gimmick for the stage, if you haven't noticed already, is the water mechanic, but also these giant Death Egg robots will throw things at you, so you can use Chaos Control to stop the items in the air and get up to secret passageways. Not like that, though. Alright, let's do it correctly this time. Just like that. And then we're going to boost up this way, and we're going to get a really cool transition with the Death Egg robots. You just got to be careful right here as they're throwing stuff at you. You can use Chaos Control as well to get up to certain spots, but we don't have it at the moment, and I just love this transition right here. It is so crisp. It is so nice. Woo! Metal Overlord is probably the most difficult boss to S rank in. You have to hit every phase perfectly almost, so we're going to go do that here. I'm going to show you how to do it because this guy, he's a sharky boy, and he's very cool. As you can see, we're using the Doom Stingray power in this boss fight, and we are actually helping clear the ocean from the mechanical pollution that's taken place. There are so many parts from the Fallen Egg Fleet in the Sonic Heroes game, I guess is where this is taking place, because we're time traveling here and about, and we are clearing those out by hitting them into Metal Overlord to do some minor damage. But then, as you can see, we are also going off ramps onto rails to do some more significant damage to him. There is a formula and method to this madness because he has very significant phases that you can actually rush through by doing more damage the quicker you move. You're also building up your Chaos Control gauge as you're hitting these items. And as you can see, I got the beam, so I was able to use Chaos Control, ride the beam, and hit him into his next phase. Well, I guess I had to hit him a few more times for the next phase. Okay, I might have miscalculated that a little bit. He's going to do this tail whip. You got to wait for his eyes to charge, and that'll telegraph when you jump. It's so easy once you figure that out, but if you just try to do it without looking or hearing that sound cue, you might get a little bit tripped up. He does go faster for that last swing, and then you're good to go. I don't necessarily understand the physics of this, but then again, I never took physics. It wasn't a requirement for my major, so we're just going to keep moving forward. Metal Overlord has this like icicle thing he shoots at you, and you basically just ping pong it back to one another, time it correctly, and it does some damage and builds up that juicy chaos control meter. We're going to hit some trash at him. He's going to send some rockets. The red ones hurt you, so you just kind of want to jump and hit the silver rockets to do some more damage. Bro thinks an entire ship is going to stop me. I am Shadow the freaking Hedgehog. Nice try, bozo. I want to use chaos control right here, and I want to start smacking trash around. Somehow Shadow gets the power of like telekinesis right here. It's definitely more of a Silver the Hedgehog shot, but we'll deal with it. I guess because he hit it while it was frozen, it did this. And we get our final little hit here. He's going to try to throw another ship like the first one really worked in the first place. Hiya! I think Shadow actually even says that. Yeah, exactly. And with that, we have defeated Metal Overlord, and I am happy to obtain my S rank. Our next stage is Chaos Island. Even though this is a Sonic Frontiers level in which Shadow does not make an appearance, they wanted to give us another stage to really make this extra part of Sonic X Shadow Generations feel like a full game. I just tripped over a boulder. That is quite embarrassing. Shadow, like I said, hasn't actually visited here to our knowledge. They might change that later. If they do a Sonic Frontiers 2, we'll just have to wait and see. The gimmick for this is really utilizing the Doom power where you turn into a Splatoon squid and ride up and down walls. It's my least favorite of the Doom powers, I have to be honest with you. Well, what are we doing here? Over here. And so, I'm not a huge fan. The controls are a little bit wonky. You do get a cool move with it, though, where if you see an orb and like swing from it and boost right when you're underneath it, you get a giant boost upwards, which can be useful, but right now I am struggling to transform here. Yeah, the key to transforming is you actually have to hit the orbs, and if you touch the ground that's not gooey like this, you go back to regular Shadow form. The other gimmick for the Chaos Island stage is just a bunch of switches. That's about all there is to write for this stage. It's doable. I'm not a huge fan. It's not my top favorite, but it's nice. You know, never in a million years did I think that we would ever get a Sonic 06 representation in a modern Sonic game, but they've really turned full circle and really show love and appreciation for not only the game itself, but the canonicity of it all, even if it is convoluted. Like, we are fighting Mephilis. This is so cool, and I really wish they didn't spoil it in the trailers leading up to this game, but yeah, this boss fight is just cool and sick, but it is not difficult by any means. You're mostly using the Splatoon squid Doom power and waiting for an opening to hit him, and then you can actually just not even hold down the attack button and just keep laying into Mephilis and not even send him flying. You're supposed to, but like, come on, this is comical. It's so good, and it is taking a decent amount of his health down. Oh, nice try, buddy. Alright, this time I'm gonna send you flying, son. Let's see, where am I taking you? Pachow! There we go, that works. And then he just slams him down. It is so awesome. Mephilis, I have the power of chaos control. You really can't do anything to me. Like, look at this. This is awesome. All the cutscenes in between, too. So sick. And I'm doing this all within chaos control. I didn't even know that was possible. I thought the cutscene wouldn't have that effect over it, but it does. Oh, man. Mephilis speaking in Spanish. Oh, here we go. With the brightness down and just the red saturation, it actually looks really cool. Like, that goes hard.
Jamás.
Did Shadow just say Hamas? And we have Doom's Obsession, I mean the last and final stages of Shadow Generations, which is Radical Highway. These levels are just absolute gauntlets, throwing every mechanic that you've used in this game at you. You have to use all the Doom powers, all of Shadow's abilities to get to certain locations. There are some mega shortcuts with the Doom wings, but besides that, you're just blasting through. These are the most... What just happened there? I'm sorry? There's a lot of challenging obstacles and stuff. As you can see, we're now getting the gross vomit wings right now, and you can just like kind of fly around, but I'm not a huge fan of these things, if I want to be quite honest with you. It's because I'm bad with them. I'll keep it straight. But yeah, this is literally the last few levels, and it does feel like it with the challenge level going up, but the problem is we've played so much of Radical Highway in some of the other stages because Doom changed them. And like I said earlier, I just think it would be cooler if those other stages would transform into different levels from the Shadow the Hedgehog series. And then we could have just been surprised by the Radical Highway at the very end. Oh wait, that was sick. That was awesome. Just like not holding it down and just constantly punching him. I actually absolutely love that. There are way too many shortcuts to even describe in this level. So I'm just going to do this one right here. You use the rail and attack this guy and shoot straight over to these rails over here, and you've skipped a huge portion of the level, and it's just beautiful. They really thought out these little like lanes and different avenues you can take for this game, and I really hope they bring that forward into future AAA Sonic titles.
Ha llegado el momento, Shadow.
Bueno, es hora de cortar el vínculo que hay entre nosotros para siempre.
Spanish dub Shadow kinda sounds like Puss in Boots. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't know if that's problematic to say, but I'm gonna leave it in and just hope for the best. Let me know down in the comments if you made it this far in the video. That will be the true and ultimate test. So we have Devil Doom here, who is the final boss for the Shadow Generations game. He's also the final boss in the Shadow the Hedgehog game, which is cool. And he has multiple phases, surprise, surprise. A lot of them are just repeats from the Doom abilities from the other boss fights. So as you're going to see here, our first phase is the Stingray ability, where we're going to be hitting his black balls back at him, and that's just very similar to that of the Metal Overlord boss that we did a little while back. Devil Doom isn't a difficult boss by any means, he's just a long boss, because that health bar at the top is just for phase 1 out of 3. As you can see, we're just absolutely massacring him with his own balls. I don't know how I got hit right there. And then we're going to go up the ramps and do some extra damage this way. The next phase is the Splatoon Squid ability, and this is where things get a little bit more difficult, because we haven't really done much of this in previous Shadow levels, but we actually have to do some platforming in the squid form. So it's a tad bit tricky and janky, but we're going to go ahead over here into the ring and I got you. I got you. Wait, he used Chaos Control? But I did Chaos Control within the Chaos Control? Yeah. Oh. Oh, that's a nice touch. Aw. Yo. And that, my friends, is how to play Shadow Generations. I hope you learned something and enjoyed. Now you can go out and try these tips and tricks yourself. I, of course, did a lot of this video in parody and in jest, but I actually do have a video that goes over some optimal settings to play this game, so you can check that out now. Here, I'm going to have the video pop up for you to click on. I also have a ton of other Sonic related content here on the channel. If you're interested, please check those out. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about this series. I'm going to be doing some other of these kinds of videos with other Sonic games, and I would love to hear your feedback. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already for more Sonic content. I try to upload every single Sunday. I'm OCDsaster, and I hope you have a super Sonic rest of your day. See ya!